Welcome to the Epic Vision Zone. Having grown up in a creative family, it's not surprising that today's guest has found her calling in the world of fashion styling and personal style branding. Hollywood has been hiring her to dress their actors for the camera since 1996. She has worked on several television shows and movies, including the hit TV shows Modern Family, Beverly Hills 90210, 13 Reasons Why, My Name is Earl, and Bones, just to mention a few. Taking her career experience and her natural gift of being able to transform a person's image, she is now coaching entrepreneurs on how to genuinely connect with their audiences by helping to authentically brand their image. Her mission is not only to help women express who they truly are, but to help entrepreneurs, creatives, and executives wear the clothes that bring out their best and most brilliant brand, themselves. So she believes that when a woman dresses authentically in her way that matches her dream, her ideal client will be drawn to her. So welcome and meet Mary Beth Ramsey. So nice to have you, Mary Beth.
Thank you, Jane. It's good to be here.
Yes, that's quite the resume. I am very impressed already.
It sounds so much better when someone else reads it.
Yeah, it always does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I read that your mom, going back a little bit, because your upbringing was very interesting as to what led you here. So I read that your mom, she loved to cook, sew, quilt, raised you and your sisters to never have idle hands. And she also made much of your clothing and liked to dress you alike. So explain how that planted the seed for your work today.
Yeah, it really did. I grew up around that, and my mom was always sewing, and I learned how to sew when I was 5. So we were in front of the TV. We were doing stitcheries, like cross stitches or stitcheries or hand sewing.
Wow.
And on a machine probably when I was 5 or 6, and then started in competitions and traditional sewing classes with 4-H. When I was, I think, 9 or 11, whatever age you can join those groups. So I was then starting making my own clothing. And
wow, at 9 and 11, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I think the first thing I made, well, I remember making a sweatsuit outfit. I wanted, like, I think it was Adidas. I wanted the Adidas, because that was the brand that everyone was wearing at the time.
Right.
And we couldn't afford it. And so I had to make it myself. So I made it.
So fortunate. I mean, I was lucky if I could make a little hand square tote bag. That was it for me.
Yeah. I remember when I was old enough to get into the traditional sewing class and not be taught by my mom, everyone was making like a pillow or something very simple, and I was making like I had to make that because I was in the class, but my skill level was so much higher than everyone else was at that time. Yeah, and it was just me. It was just who I was and how I grew up. I didn't think it was special at all.
Well, and you said in your story that because your mom dressed all of you alike, you felt that you lost your identity, or that maybe you didn't have an identity. Maybe dig into that a little bit, because I think that's really where you got a lot of what you do today.
Exactly. Yeah, when we were little, we all dressed the same, and it was so cute. It's so cute to have our pictures of the 3 of us in the same little outfits. But yeah, I didn't have any identity of my own until really several years ago. I was always following other people, following fashion, following what other people were wearing. And then when I got divorced, I realized that I didn't really know who I was. And I was not really thrown in, but all my single friends wanting me to go out and being this new person again, like, where do I fit in with this? I started dressing like they did, which wasn't really me, but I thought, okay, well, they'd say, oh, you can't wear that. You look like a soccer mom, because I was a stepmom. So all my clothes were different, so now being a single woman again and going out with my friends, I started wearing what they had. It didn't really fit me. And so over time, I just, got back to me. And what really happened was me digging into myself, and I shouldn't say it that way, digging into myself, but working on myself and getting over the past and forgiving myself for everything is really what really solidified who I was and made me feel comfortable in my own skin and in the clothing that I wear.
Well, that's very interesting because my next question was, but I think you may have just answered it, that you made little steps a few years ago, that you wouldn't be here today teaching people how to look good on camera and off camera. And it sounds like that was maybe the step that you were referring to in that. Was that what you were referring to? That's
Yeah,
the shift that you made?
exactly. It's that whole like working on yourself, finding out who you are, who you really want to be, and not really following the trends or the fashion. Like people ask me all the time, like, what's new coming up in the season or in summer? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you could find that out easily by going to the stores.
Right.
You know, whatever's in the stores, what they're trying to sell and what's going to be popular this season, this summer, this fall, whatever. But why not just wear what makes you happy? You know?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a new concept for many people because we always we have a herd mentality a lot of the time. And in fashion, it's one of the big things because we all want to know what the latest look is. We don't want to be left out, but this is why I like so much what you are trying to teach individuals. Did you always feel you were destined to be an entrepreneur, or was that something that you grew into over the years?
No, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been one to figure out other ways to make money. I've had several businesses, tried different things. Most entrepreneurs do that. You know, we try 5, 6, 10, whatever, different ones. They fail. We've learned things. I've made really good friends with in businesses that have failed. I used to have a lingerie business, and my little workspace is right next door to this. My friend Susie, and she made dresses and skirts. And we both had the same struggles. We were going through the same type of things at the same time with our businesses. And it was so empowering to have a friend right next door that could help get through everything. So yeah, I've always had lots of businesses, and I get bored easily.
But just the fact that you have had the businesses and that you have failed, but you really didn't fail. You just haven't found the right fit yet, because many of us, and I'm speaking about this because we have many entrepreneurs and people who may be looking to either start a business or are in business, and to pick yourself up and to keep going. Because if that's really in your blood and it's something that you love, whether it's sharing like yourself, your talent with others, or, you know, inventing a product or sewing something for someone, it's not that it's gone and it's not that we failed. We just haven't found the right way to present it, or, you know, we just haven't found our right niche at this point. But I love that you just kept going. You know, that's a really valuable lesson for a lot of entrepreneurs and even women changing in their careers, because that's the word failure is always got a negative connotation. And, you know, sometimes we let that take root in us, and it's like, no, I can't try again, because if I fail again, what are not only people going to think of me, but what am I going to think of myself? But I just love your spirit.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and it really does grow us. You know, the things that I learned back then and in my other businesses have, you know, are things that I don't necessarily need to learn again, or maybe I am learning them again because I didn't really learn them before. So it all is these stepping stones to bring us to who we are today.
Exactly. Well, as a creative and an entrepreneur, how did you come to the type of unique service that you provide? Speaking of experiences, and, you know, we never throw those away, whether we believe it or not. We always bring what we've learned with us. But now you've got a very unique service that you provide, and just give us an idea of how you've come to this, because it's very in today's world, with us being on camera all the time now, it's even more important than ever in the sense of branding. So maybe unpack that a little.
Yeah, well, working in Hollywood for 25 years, it really shaped all of this. You know, learning firsthand what looks good on camera, what shapes, what styles, what colors, the fit, the proportion, and every person is different. And doing that for so long, and also like, you know, we get a script and we read the character and we have an image, okay, this is what we're going to dress them in, but then we have to also talk with the actor and combine, oh, well, oh, that's your backstory, oh, that's, oh, because they've done more in-depth research on their character than we have. We just, you know, so then we're collaborating with them. So this is kind of what I do now with my clients. So I get a script, like, say you know, you do this and this and this. Oh, and now I see you. So now I'm like, oh, so my image of what I was going to give her is different because, you know, now I see her and her look is this way. So now we're dressing to that and taking all that into account. And then also what looks good on camera, where is the setting going to be? You know, don't dress in the same color as your background.
Yeah, that would be a bad thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, those are the little things that people need to know, because the awareness that you have due to your background is much more heightened. And we might just not, it's not that we meant to blend in with our background, it's just that we didn't think of it. So,
right. Yeah. And it amazes me too, because all of this stuff I just know from all these years of staring at a monitor and making sure that the actors look good, that it just comes naturally to me. And I'm constantly helping people or telling them like, oh, move that. And just like with me here in my background, if I was like over here, you know, with that over here coming out of my head, doesn't quite look as well as this, you know. Right. So, you know, just making sure every little thing is perfect. And, you know, if I turned this just a little bit this way, would that be more distracting? You know,
right.
There's not just what we're wearing.
You do your set. No, but yeah.
You know,
it's awareness. But like you said, you've got that eye, you know, and that's, and it's also not just blending in with your background, but because a lot of us are doing these, the Zoom or the webinars, because things have shifted, the focus is solely on the individual, more so than if you were on stage. You have some distractions, you know, people can look here, can look there, but now it's you. And
right. That's another thing. It's like when you're on stage, you can wear something that's more flowy or that moves with you. That's like a beautiful silk garment or whatever that has movement and shape, but and flow. But on camera, when we're just concentrating on here, anything that can take that attention off of you and your message and your story is going to be distracting.
Right.
You know? So a lot of people I'm hearing are wearing big earrings because they think, but you know, when they move, like if I had something like this dangling right here, and every time I'm like, you know, it's so distracting. And then one is maybe caught in your hair and then you're like, ow.
Yeah. But you don't want to move it because it'll draw more attention. But that's a good point, actually, because, you know, lately I've been watching a lot of video and webinars and Zooms, and you're right. I love large earrings myself, but I know that they're a distraction because I end up watching the earring and I'm like, oh, what's the, you know, it swings, or I'm liking it and I'm not focusing on the individual. I'm focusing on the ear and going, I wonder where she bought those.
Exactly. Where'd you buy them, or the color, or what print is on that? Or, you know, a lot of people say that with what you have in behind you too, is like, if you have a photo, people are going to look at who's in the photo or what the plaque says. And
right. Yeah.
But you have to have a little bit of personality behind you too. So.
Yes, exactly. We need a little bit of depth because apparently our eyes get tired of just focusing on the one thing. While we're on the subject, tell us about patterns in the camera, because I know that that's something we need to be aware of.
Yes. So what happens is, it's called strobing, or moiré is the term that we use in Hollywood. And it's when a high contrast is together. Like if you know what a houndstooth is, or pinstripe, everyone pretty much knows what a pinstripe is. If it's a narrow pinstripe, like a a black and a white, or even a navy and a white next to each other, or a dark pink and a white, something really dark and something really light next to each other, the camera makes it look wavy. And you've probably seen this, where someone has a shirt or a blouse on and it starts to move. And that's really distracting. And even when I held this up, it kind of does that. So see, if it's just hanging straight, it still kind of moves.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not just print. I didn't even know that that did that until I brought it up. But it's also like if you had an open weave sweater on that's maybe black and your skin is very white, that contrast, or fishnet or something like that, if you can imagine that, dark skin with a light net or something over it, is still going to look, it's going to distract your eye, it's going to move.
Right.
And even with a tie, a man wearing a tie, anything that you have on, or earrings, anything could do that.
And what about polka dots?
Polka dots the same. You really just have to test everything, because if it's a large print, I had a polka dot in here, it's not in here anymore. If it's a large polka dot print, it may not move. Or if it's a polka dot that's like maybe gray and black, that's not going to moray. But white and black probably will. So what I do, like, and even prints will, any print could. So I had a print blouse on earlier, and I put it in front of the camera, and it didn't move, but I didn't really feel right in it. It was like the same thing of like,
right,
what are you going to wear? What feels comfortable to you? You might have the outfit chosen. Like I had it all steamed out, ready to go, put it on for this interview. And nope, it wasn't my personality for the day. It didn't work. But the print did work, you know?
Yeah.
So the colors were all kind of muted, and they weren't too distracting.
Right, right. Well, those are great tips. You know, everybody needs those today, and thank you for sharing them, because I know that there's those are the questions that people don't always ask, but they are things that people do need to know.
Right. So, yeah. And so really, like before, if you have an on-camera interview or a meeting or whatever, and you want to be presentable, try the clothes on like an hour before. Turn on the lights, turn on the camera, do it all like it's real. And even my makeup, it sounds silly.
No, it's true.
But I have a window on this side, so this side is lighter than this side. So I put more blush on this side.
Oh, now you've told us your secret.
Yeah, I did. So now, I don't know if you can tell, to me, to my eye, it looks more even. But when I first turned on my camera, I was like, oh my gosh, it looks like I'm naked on this side. It looked like I didn't have any makeup on this side, because the light blows it out. Right. Makes it disappear. So yeah.
Yeah, no, these are all little things that we, you know, have to, like you said, we don't have our production teams with us, but if we did, then they would be, no, okay, we need to change you. But now we have to become the experts and all those areas, which is hard. Yeah. I mean, if we have them at the forefront and we're aware, it, you know, over time, it's not difficult. It's just being aware, so that when you're going through your closet, you want to stick to solids, you know, you want to, you know, stay away from patterns and certain colors. So we'll move on, because we'll come back to a little bit of that later on. Okay. So you say it wasn't until recently that you truly came into your own style. And then we touched a little bit on that, but you said that you were able to clear out the blocks, the ones in your closet, in the form of clothing. Now, I thought that was really interesting. So what do you mean by the blocks in your closet?
Well, we women, we hold emotions in our clothes, right? We're, you know, like that item that you bought on vacation, but it's not really you, but you bought it. In the moment you bought it, it was you loved it, you've never worn it, but you don't want to get rid of it. But it's hanging in your closet. So every time you see it, you think about the vacation, or you think, oh, I should wear it because I spent X amount of money on it. Or like any of those items, you know, an item that, you know, maybe all of your clothes cost a lot of money. But so you don't want to get rid of it, even though the piece has a negative feeling attached to it. Like you wore it with someone who you're no longer friends with. Or there's a, you know, you had a fight with someone that you, when you wore it, we remember all those things, and we remember exactly how much money we spent on each item, which is weird. Right? And so we think, you know, like, oh, I spent $200 on that coat. I have to get my money's worth out of it. And I have to wear it X amount of times before I get rid of it. So then you try to put it on every single day or once a week to get your money's worth out of it. But every time you put it on, it doesn't work with your attitude that day, or where you're going, or your outfit, or whatever. It just doesn't work. You don't feel good in it. So that's a block that's holding you back. All those things, you're opening your closet and seeing all those things in your closet, and it's taking your time, your energy, your thoughts, your emotions each time you look. So it's best to clear it all out and start fresh.
That's fascinating. Mm-hmm. Because you said that a lot of our clothes are from different lifetimes. Like it could be from a different career or relationship, mm-hmm. and the effect that they had on us at that time. And you use them, I like to say, use them or lose them. But also, though, you're saying that when you put certain things on, that you're bringing that memory or that feeling with it. So it's good because they become blocks, which is very interesting. And it's something I think that all of us could get a few tips on. That was actually my next question. If you could share with the audience, walk us through a few action steps that we can take at home to help us get started.
Okay. Yeah. So first, I like to go through and just, like, a lot of people say, take everything out of your closet and then hold each piece and decide and put it back in. But I think that's way too overwhelming. You know, you look at it and you're like, oh, you know, and it'll stop you right there. So the way I like to do it is either take out sections, or just keep everything in your closet and go through each piece. So you're not having to redo it. So as you get to each piece, if it's a bad memory, take it out. And, you know, you can deal, like I take my clients through like a process and help them actually deal with the feelings too. So you can put it away.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not just like, okay, time to get rid of it. And I used to do that, but it's like, no, there might be a little bit more to it. You know, like, we're so emotionally attached to these things. So yeah, so basically get rid of the pieces that are no longer serving you in whatever way that is. They don't fit. They're the wrong shape. They're the wrong proportion. They're the wrong size. They don't fit your life anymore. So get rid of those things first. And the memories, anything's attached to any bad memory. The good memories, the sentimental items, don't get rid of. I'm not a minimalist like that. I say keep them, put them in a box though, put them somewhere. If they're very fragile, you can get them taken care of by a dry cleaner, and they can be wrapped properly if it's a garment from your grandmother or whatever, and have them stored in the correct way. But don't have them taking up your space in your closet. Right. You know, right. And with the feng shui and the whole feeling like that is, the more space you have, like, you get rid of things and you keep that space available for other things to come in to your life. Whether
I like
more
that.
clothes, more better relationships, more finances, like all these different things will come into your life because now you've made room for it.
Right. So the conclusion I hear is rid ourselves of those things that aren't serving us. And in your case, because of your expertise, it's clothing, but it could be other things, to make space to allow other things to come in to create possibility and opportunity.
Right.
And it's so vital because, you know, not only you deal with your particular area, but it's also a life lesson. And, you know, with women particularly, because we do love our clothes and we tend to just keep collecting them and don't make the space for ourselves, but also makes the space in our lives. And it makes it less hairy when you're trying to find something to wear, quite frankly, if you don't have all that stuff in there. But
Exactly. Exactly. And a lot of us, we don't know what to buy. So
yes.
we know we need to buy something. We need an outfit for whatever, or like right now we need tops for Zoom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of different tops. So we think, okay, we need 20 to get through the next month. Okay. So we just start buying. And then when everything comes in, since we can't go to the store really right now, all the clothes come in and you realize that you bought, 5 of the same shirt. And you already have 5 of them hanging in your closet. So I help my clients with that too. Why are you buying the same thing? And do you even like that thing? Or are you buying it because, someone told you look great in it?
Yeah, there goes, right. That's full circle into why be who you are, not what everyone else is wearing, because that may not suit your personality. It may not even fit your body type. But
right.
Yeah, that's, you say, why did you buy it? And they might say, well, because that's the hot fashion. But then you have to bring them back to their brand,
Exactly.
well, because we'll get into that a little further down. So I don't want to get too far into that. But yes, absolutely, the branding. And we're going to delve a little deeper into that, because for us, I think that's what's going to be most fascinating about this segment. But I wanted to ask something about what's on your website, because I think that every woman could use this, but I want you to explain what it is. You say that you're not just a stylist, that you're also a clothing therapist. So it sounds really interesting to me, and give us some insight into the profession of a clothing therapist.
Well, I kind of made it up.
I love it. I love it.
It's like basically what I was just saying. It's like I help you.
Oh, that's right. You said.
Yeah. So I help you figure out who you are, who you want to be, get rid of the things that aren't serving you in that image of yourself and your image, your branding of your business. And then, and the therapy mostly is like getting rid of stuff. But then it's also some of that, what happens to my clients when they finally, when they get it. And it could be the 3rd or 4th store we go to, or like a week or 2 or a month after they work with me, telling me that their whole life changed from just changing their clothes. Now they feel more confident in them. They feel more confident to go out on dates, to accept the Zoom meeting or the interview, or go out for the audition or whatever it could be. They feel more confident in doing that, and they show up in a different energy because they're confident. And then their whole life starts to change because of that. They're attracting different people into their life, different clients, different businesses, and more money comes, more clients, like it all changes. And that's really the therapy around it, which, when I first started doing that, I was resisting doing this business because I thought it was superficial, of like, oh, just, you're just trying to make people look good. Well, yeah, but it really is everything else involved in it. Like as women, we know when we put on a dress that we feel amazing in, and then we get compliments, that just makes us want to wear that dress even more, and we feel good in it, and it's our go-to dress. And
no, you're right. It shifts our whole energy. I mean, that about putting on a piece of clothing and giving you confidence. It's almost like the superheroes, they put the cape on and all of a sudden they have their power. Well, you put something on that makes you feel good, and that in turn gives you confidence. Or, you go out, if you're building a relationship, and like you said, that is something that makes you feel either sexy or attractive, then you give that kind of energy. So what we wear on the outside is very important. And what I like with what you're saying too, is you take it a step further, that it's not because you're wearing the latest trends, but it's because you're wearing who you are.
Right. Right. And it does go right back into Hollywood too, because the actors, when they come in for fittings, we go out and buy all the clothes that we think they should wear. their character would wear. And then they come in, and when they start putting them on in a fitting, there's this thing that happens, and it's like, it's not right. It's not right. And we all know that. We know, no, that's not right for the character. Now that I see you here, now that we spoke about the character, or us speaking about your business, now we know that that's not right. This is more right. Okay, maybe we need to go shopping again. Maybe we need to rethink this, because you're not going to, if you don't feel right in the clothes, then nothing's going to be right. You're not going to want to put them on. You're not going to want to leave the house. You're not going to want to go to the networking event, whatever place you're going. You won't want to go if you don't feel right in those clothes.
You're right. And it makes you feel uncomfortable. And if you're uncomfortable, you lose your confidence. So therein lies.
Right. And that's the good thing about wearing what you're comfortable in. Like, if everyone else is wearing a suit, but you don't feel comfortable in a suit, you shouldn't wear a suit. You could wear your version of the suit, but, if you're not going to feel comfortable in it, don't wear it. Yes. You have to find your own little way around your look.
Exactly. Define your look, which is true. Yes. The Kardashians have done very well at that.
Yeah.
So we could take a lesson from them, only now they're setting trends. So a lot of people try to copy them. Not that, I'm up there with them, but it's an example of, people who dress the way they feel, and they're branding themselves all the time. I have to give it to them in that respect. So that's a good example of branding through your appearance. Definitely. We'll unpack that in a minute. As entrepreneurs, creating a brand identity is a crucial first step in marketing ourselves and our business. There's the look and the feel of our product and services, but there's also the image that we portray to the public every day. So can you explain on that and share a few tips that will help us enhance our brand through our personal image?
Right. Yeah. The more cohesive and consistent your brand identity is, the easier it is for others to really understand and connect with your company. And it can attract and influence those, the customers and clients that you want. So it's very important to choose not only the clothes that match your personality and your product or service, but also to match what your ideal client is going to be drawn to and how they expect you to look. It's like, a banker. I hate going to the bank on casual Fridays, and actually bankers are dressing more casual now anyway, but because I want my banker to wear a suit or somewhat of a dressier look than a t-shirt and jeans, or a Hawaiian shirt and shorts.
And you say that, because I feel the same way. I'm like, well, you're dealing with my money, and for some reason I feel very uncomfortable when they got tattoos, they got the nose ring, they got the dyed hair, and I'm like, seriously, this is a bank? But anyway, maybe that's just old-fashioned. I don't know.
It's true. It could be old-fashioned, but I feel the same way. It's like, it's not a professional look.
Yes.
You're not going to be taken seriously. You might be really, really smart in numbers and money and investing and all of that, but the image itself isn't a good one. So
for that particular profession.
Right. Exactly. If you're a tattoo artist.
Perfect.
Perfect. Or just in general, an artist or an artistic.
A creative.
A creative. Great. But yes. So similar, if you're like a yoga instructor, I wouldn't expect you to come promote your yoga studio in a suit, Yeah. So,
I would wonder about that instructor for sure.
Exactly.
But it's the cohesiveness, it's
exactly
what you're saying versus what you're showing. So, if you're saying X, but you're looking like Y, not only is it not cohesive, but it's not connecting with the clients. Or like you said, attracting those clients that, the coveted clients that you'd be looking for, because you did mention earlier about the energy that you put out that will bring back the clients that you're looking for. But if you're not wearing that suit that gives you the confidence, that gives you the appearance and the ability to go out and feel your best, then you're not going to draw those clients to you. So it's all connected. It's very, very interesting. I love it.
Exactly. If you're wearing a suit because you think you need to wear a suit, you might attract a client or two that thinks you should wear a suit, but you're not really going to connect deeply with that client.
Right.
Because you're not going to feel comfortable, so you're not going to be authentic and as open and as raw as you would be.
Exactly. So in your words, how do your services help entrepreneurs with their brand? Because I feel that this is something that really sets you in a different light. Your services are very unique because you're building around a brand as opposed to just not just, but you say a stylist or a therapist, but this is brand building. So give us some insight into that.
Well, building a brand is very unique because we want people to recognize our brand immediately. And it goes from, who we are, but also like our website, our fonts, our logos, the colors, the images, all of that. We want them to know as from afar, like Nike, you know what the logo looks like, and you can see it from a distance. Mm-hmm. So that's the repetition of that is, we are our brand, and image is that. So we need to be cohesive with that, with our clothing, with our brand, with our website, with anything that we put out.
Right. It's like recognizing a cereal,
mm-hmm.
Your favorite cereal at the grocery store. You want to be able to spot it.
Right.
And when you have images, colors, in this case, clothing, as an entrepreneur, because you said you are your brand and therefore your image is everything. So that's where the brand and the image go hand in hand, and particularly for entrepreneurs, because, we're out there in the limelight. We're out there like we are here with you, speaking to people and teaching them and giving in their webinars, like I said, and so many coaches. But not only that, they're business owners nowadays who own restaurants, who are doing things that they never thought they would be doing. And maybe they're, getting onto Zoom and putting something out for their clients and maybe showing their best. But this is all part of branding. You don't want somebody who's serving food to be on camera and they look filthy dirty, because maybe if they have some spaghetti because it looks good, but you'd kind of wonder, I'm just going back to the clothing and giving an extreme example, but yeah, it's very important. So what are transformational styles? I'm curious, because we've talked a lot about image and branding, and you've got something on your site that says you like to deal with transformational styles.
Yeah, well, that is basically what we've been talking about, really transferring people's lives and their businesses through their style, and getting right deep down and pulling everything out, getting raw, and finding what's truly them, and that changes their life. It transforms their lives, their relationships, their finances, their spirituality, their family, everything. It goes into all areas of their life, and it truly transforms them in all areas of their life because of the styles that they now are wearing. And it could be just a small tweak of their clothing or their style, or it could be a major one, but it transforms them into a completely different person.
Yeah, I could see that, definitely. It's like when we go into a store and take something special into the dressing room and come out and we're like, yeah, I just feel great in this.
Yeah, it's like you were saying with the hero cape, or when we put on the dress to go to our friend's wedding, we act differently, we behave differently, we stand, our posture is different when we're wearing heels than tennis shoes, or jeans, or a skirt, or a bathing suit, or a gown. We act differently in the clothing. Part of it is the event that we're at, but part of it is what we're wearing. If I were to wear a comfy, cozy sweatshirt right now, I might not be sitting it up as straight, you know?
Right.
I
Yeah.
might be like bending over a little bit and maybe hiding myself a little bit more. Maybe I'd be embarrassed that, oh, I didn't, you know, pay enough attention to what I was wearing for this, you know? So it all plays into it.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely does. And you may have already answered this question, and if you have, we can move on. But what is your style? Do you have a style philosophy, or?
I guess what it would be is this, just to wear what's comfortable for you and not, I hate it when everyone is following everyone else.
Okay.
So um, just what's comfortable, what's you, not necessarily what's in the stores. Um, you know, it's fun to go looking and seeing the new styles, but as you know, they all repeat. So,
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bell bottoms. I've been seeing bell bottoms. I'm like, seriously?
yeah, yeah,
Tie dye?
everything repeats every 20 years or so, pretty much.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So your style philosophy is wear who you are.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
And who do you work with?
I mostly I work with professional women who don't know what to wear to their events or their special engagements, their Zooms, their networking events, and those who no longer feel right in their clothes. So kind of what we were talking about,
Mhm.
figuring out who you are, and then also those people who don't like to shop or they don't have time to shop.
And also you deal with entrepreneurs to help
Yes.
them brand themselves, right?
Yes, and entrepreneurs I really like because there's so many women who have these great business ideas, or they're helping people, their service is amazing, and they're not as successful as I feel like they could be if they just matched their image, did a little branding, changed, you know, looked a little bit better, sharpened up a little thing or two, and then they could change the world with their product or service through just a little tweak.
Yeah,
So that's really where I see the power coming in, is let's change the world through our clothes, through
yeah,
being our unique, authentic self.
exactly. That's the key right there.
Mhm.
And you're using clothes as one of the tools, basically. So what do you find most challenging as an entrepreneur? What do you have an aspect that you find the most challenging? Because you have been an entrepreneur, you said, throughout your life, and had tried things and they haven't worked. What do you find the most challenging?
Oh, I think it's mindset and
Mhm.
tenacity, and just getting up and doing it over and over again, even though you may not have seen the results. The results haven't come yet. The client hasn't showing up yet. You know, just keep on going. That's the hardest. When you know maybe there's a, you know, you can get a job and you know that every hour you get paid and every week or two you get the paycheck, but it's not
Right.
fulfilling you.
Mhm.
But you know, in owning your own business, there could be a big payday, but you just have to wait. You just have to keep doing the little steps, keep going and going and going to get to that. So
Right.
that's, I think, the hardest, knowing that it's coming,
Yes. No, and staying the course.
staying the course, sticking to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you have three words on your site, and you
Hmm.
touched on some of these: clarity,
Yes. Hmm.
release,
Hmm.
and empower.
Yeah.
Love
Mhm.
those words. So just unpack those briefly, because I know we've spoken mostly about all of them, but
Yeah.
just I want to hear your little
Yeah.
definition.
Great. So clarity would be getting clear on who you are, and just so you know who you are, you have your definition, your essence, your true essence. And then releasing would be releasing what no longer serves you, cleaning out your closet, really truly getting rid of the things that no longer serve you. And then empower would then be to, let's empower you. Let's get some outfits together, either from your closet or um, shopping, and blending your personality with your business product or service, and to really empower you with who you really are, and so you can show up in the world empowered.
Perfect. I love it. And I just had a little exercise I thought would be fun for our audience to enjoy, because it's just very basic, but I'm going to mention a few pieces of clothing and just give us a little general idea of what these clothes would say about the person and the style. So I've got a crisp white blouse. What would that say?
I think that says clean, business-like. Yeah, I'd love a clean, crisp white blouse. To me, it's like you're clean.
Mm-hmm.
You're put together.
Put together. I like that. Yes, put together.
Mm-hmm.
How about a t-shirt? Now, I mean a nice t-shirt, not a old ratty t-shirt.
Okay. So yeah, I think that says casual, comfortable, easygoing, young. Depending on who you are, it could say you're a little bit rebellious if it's in a business setting. If you're wearing it with a jacket, that is a good style now. People are doing that. But it has that casual, comfortable, easy feeling, like easy to work with.
Okay, I like that. A suit jacket.
I think that means business. Maybe you're structured, you're important, you think take things seriously.
Okay. And a black top, because I know a lot of women, their go-to is black. And that doesn't always necessarily give a good image, but not only that, doesn't play so well on camera. So that's why I put that in there.
Yeah, so that is in person, it's simple, elegant. On camera, it's boring. It's hiding in the background. Like in Hollywood, we never put anyone in black unless it's maybe a funeral or something that has to be black. But then we add texture into it, But anyway, black is flat. You don't see any shape. So often you look like a big black blob.
Wow. So that's really good information.
Yeah, it flattens, the light just soaks right into the color, and it just is really flat. So yeah, the shape, the detail, you can't really see. Like you wouldn't maybe see well, you maybe can't see here either with the definition because I'm lower. But with this darker color, you can kind of see where my arm is. But if it was a black, I would look like a big round blob.
So for all the ladies out there, I know black is our go-to, but avoid it when you're on Zoom or when you're doing a webinar, right?
Yes, and even navy tends to go black on camera. So watch that too. I mean, it would be if you only wear black and that's your thing and that's part of your image and your branding, fine, but maybe change to navy because it won't do the same thing as the black does.
Right. And I know we love black because it's slimming.
It's slimming and it's easy. It's everything, it goes with everything, but it in general, it doesn't look good on camera.
Okay, that's a great one. And the last one is a colorful patterned top. Now we talked a little bit about patterns. So when you combine those two, I'm not sure, where does that lead us?
Well, yeah, I know. I first thought is like fun, personality, because you do want to have some interest on camera as well. You don't want to just always be flat, or not flat, but solids. So the pattern top does give a little interest. But you also want to make sure that it doesn't strobe or moire. So you can do patterns that are similar in color, navy and blue, or or not dark and light next to each other.
Okay, so
like a light blue and a light pink might be good together,
okay.
Or a white and an off-white.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So that's a good tip because we were talking about patterns. So it made it sound like you shouldn't do any patterns, but as long as they're not contrasting.
Right. As long as they're not contrasty, and always put them on front of the camera, in front of the moving camera. Don't just take a selfie of yourself, because in a still photo, you won't see that. You may not see it, but in front of the camera, like we often do in Hollywood, a camera test. So if there's a shirt, a blouse that we purchase for someone and we want to, in like when we hang it up right in front of us, it might look like it moves. Well, let's do a camera test and make sure it doesn't. So we take it, we actually walk to set with the camera, wait for them to have a break. Can we do a camera test on this? And we hang it, we just hold it in front, move it back and forth.
Okay.
And the camera guy will say yes or no.
Okay, so it's as simple as that. It's not that you have to wear it. You just hold
No,
it
you just,
camera.
like with this, like I just sit in front, open your computer, turn the Zoom on, turn on your lights, and just, you can just hang it in front so you can actually see what's happening on camera.
Right.
Hang it in front of you or put it on, either way. And pay attention to, like, I had one on that seemed fine when I was big, when I did the test and I was in the big frame. But because it was a group Zoom call, my picture was this big, right? So it was smaller. And then when I saw that, when the meeting started, it started to move. So I got up and ran and changed because I can't have a stroby shirt with my profession.
Oh yeah, no, that would be bad. That's interesting. So if it shrinks down, it could be, well, no, that's getting very complicated. Yeah.
I know. So it's like, if you think it might, don't do it.
Yes. Yeah. It's better not to than to, take the chance, because the last thing you want to do is be the distraction, and people don't take you, well, not only do they not take you seriously, they don't want to look at you because you're giving them a headache.
Exactly.
So do you have any closing thoughts for our audience? Because I mean, I've learned so much, but do you have any closing thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah. I think personal style comes right down to what you feel best in and what truly brings out your best. So pay attention to that, and think about what you want to say to the world, and then find clothes to say that.
Right.
And most importantly, don't hide behind a costume. That's not you.
Yeah.
And be really who you are. So
yeah,
that's your client.
Exactly. No, I love that. Don't hide behind a costume, which it makes sense. It's interesting because in Hollywood, that's what they do all day long. But I mean, they're playing a character.
They're playing characters. So really, it's like find your character. Who is your character? And then become that. I mean, you can
have some fun. Play with it.
Yes. Yeah. And try some on. It's like, what your best friend wears might not work for you.
Mm-hmm.
So try it on. If you like, different things, try it on. See if it works.
Right.
If it doesn't, that's okay. Move on.
Right. But the thing is not to get so serious, because we can have some fun as we're learning who we are, because we're always evolving. Who we are today may be someone different than we are a year from now. I know I'm different than what I was a year ago. I mean, so we change as well. So maybe, and who doesn't like to have fun with clothes? I mean, I know some women who don't, but I do.
Clothes and fashion should be fun.
Yeah.
There's so many fun clothes out there. And if you have the personality that can handle that, and be behind all that, and your client is fine with that, and it works with your business, do it. It's so much fun to see the personality, and like it's not really me. I'm pretty much straight, but I so love the people who just like take the risk and wear whatever they want.
Yeah.
It just makes me happy.
It's funny. It makes me happy too. I know people like that, and I just love the way they coordinate something and put their whole outfit together. It's so funny because I always say to my husband, that outfit doesn't look good on you. And he says, men don't wear outfits. I'm like, okay. It's automatic when it comes out. But anyway, so I did want to ask, how do you still work with clients virtually though as well, right? Because, now that life has changed somewhat, and I know it will go back to normal soon.
Mhm.
but you can also deal with clients virtually. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. So what I do now is I help women do a closet detox through
Mhm.
Zoom. And so that's one of my packages I offer. And then I also do a longer 12-week program with my clients to help them do the whole process that what we were talking about, clarity, releasing, and empowering.
Okay, wonderful. And I have 4 final questions that are fun, and
Okay.
we ask them of every guest.
Uh-huh.
And the first one is, if your life were an epic story, what would the title be?
Mm. I just tenacity is coming to me, but that doesn't seem too exciting. No one would want to watch it.
No, that's not necessarily true.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
tenacity would be your title.
Yeah.
Okay. What name would you give your character in your epic story?
Oh, I don't know. Um, uh, Sydney.
Okay. How would you characterize your epic life?
Oh, geez. Uh, Characterize it like,
If you were living an epic life, what
what
would
would it be?
what would it be?
Oh, it would be elegant and wearing silk all the time and flowy and walking on the sand and with a hat
That's
and
good.
a glass of wine.
That's wonderful. Last question. If you had an epic superpower, what would it be and why?
Mm. My first thought was hearing what people say about me, but I don't really want to know that. I
I
don't care if
don't know
they
that
say
that'd be,
anymore.
if you could have one superpower, I don't know that that would be it.
No, no, maybe um meeting
Nothing, an epic
people.
superpower.
Yeah, I think meeting people that have come before and learning, talking to them and learning um, their wisdom.
That's that's really good. That's
Mm.
it. I like that. That I would like to have that superpower too.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
So thank you so much, Mary Beth, for coming
Okay.
on the show and teaching us about becoming our empowered self and embracing our authentic style. And Mary Beth and I would love to hear from you. So go over to my Facebook page and write a comment. Tell us what your epic takeaway was from this conversation. It may have been more than one. It certainly was for me. And remember, this is where you imagine, create, and build a life and business doing what you love. Thank you again, Mary Beth. Until next time, this is your Epic Vision Zone.
Thank you.